It's that white like white boy. It's that white like white boy. White like white boy. Yeah, this is white like white.
What up, my Lucky Charm here, and today I brought you my montage video of games that I do play, and I've come to just talk with you about games that I'm wanting to see in the future here. So while this plays in the background, something to entertain your eyeballs, I've just come to speak with you about games that I have highly anticipated. Mafia 3 is the first one I'm speaking of. Mafia 3 is a highly anticipated title for me. I've played both of the other ones and they kept me entertained, just like Grand Theft Auto. Mafia 3 is really looking outstanding this go around, like 100% better than the previous steps before it. I'm loving it. Another title I was looking to get into talking about would be Final Fantasy 15. Now, since the switch up of combat and the way everything moves now, I've kind of stayed away from the Final Fantasy era, but I took a spin on the Final Fantasy 15 demo simply because Final Fantasy 7 was going to be based off the same engine, and I am highly awaiting Final Fantasy 7. I have been waiting Final Fantasy 7 since I was a kid. So Final Fantasy 15 moves you in a free roam kind of combat. You know, you can run, you can stay and fight. The choice is yours. It's not like the old RPGs, you know, I strike first and then you strike, you know. But things have got to change, and things hopefully will change for the better. Final Fantasy 7, now that's something I've been waiting on for so long that I really don't want to see it get messed up. I really don't. Final Fantasy 7 is a masterpiece, and to go editing a masterpiece is not a smart move. But, you know, they could edit another masterpiece out of it. Who knows? From what I know, the combat gameplay is the only thing that'll change. The storyline to Final Fantasy VII would remain the same. That is something I am happy about. The storyline itself was the whole reason that game drew me in so hard. If you haven't played it, I would suggest playing it. And if you don't got the time to play it, I would suggest watching a video on the original Final Fantasy VII. Yes, the graphics are low and not compared to what you have in front of you nowadays, but the storyline itself, if you can find a video to describe it, was just amazing. I loved it. You couldn't top it with any game that you showed me. But now with them getting ready to remake it, I'm hoping they don't touch anything that would just start losing fans from the Final Fantasy franchise. The Final Fantasy franchise has been around for quite some time. On the topic of Call of Duty, I have been a big fan of Call of Duty. I love Call of Duty to death. The zombies mode, I've always been into the story of. The gameplay, I'm a hardcore mode gamer, but Call of Duty has since started to lose me with the futuristic concept of how they're doing their games. The flying around. I get modifying, you know, a few more weapons here and there because it gets to the future. You gotta upgrade. But the jetpacks and Infinite Warfare getting ready to drop and everything being space agey, and you know, if I wanted Halo, I would have went out and bought an Xbox, but I did not buy an Xbox. I bought a PlayStation. So I'll just have to see what Call of Duty does with Infinite Warfare. After the topic of Call of Duty, I decided to get on the topic of Battlefield 1. This is a highly anticipated game from a few people that I speak with. Battlefield 1 is looking fantastic as far as the gameplay, the graphics. People are loving the sniper rifles and the mounted cannons. It seems like the further we go back in warfare, the more people like it. Because, come on, just like me, if y'all wanted to fly around, you would have went out and got Halo. But you didn't. You sit here and you play Call of Duty, and you play Battlefield 4. And right now it looks like Battlefield may pull ahead with Battlefield 1 in comparison to Infinite Warfare. But who knows? Only time will tell with the fans with that one. Now another game I wanted to speak of was Watch Dogs 2. Watch Dogs 2 is looking pretty good as well, especially adding in their own multiplayer where you and your friend can now hack the city. Come on now, that's like every Grand Theft Auto player's dream right there, is you and your buddy being able to hack all the traffic lights and everything like that. That is a highly anticipated game for a couple of people that I play with, and I'm looking to get my hands on it too. I'm looking forward to playing it with y'all. Now on to the subject of Dishonored 2. For anyone who played Dishonored 1, you knew there were multiple ways to go about your story or killing a certain opponent. I think they even had an achievement for going through the entire game without you killing someone, just having your powers do it for you. Dishonored 2 is looking like it's going to be yet another sick gameplay. I cannot wait to play Dishonored 2. It is looking absolutely beautiful. I got a glimpse of the gameplay for it for a little bit, and I enjoyed what I was looking at. On the other hand, I was also looking at Titanfall 2. I'm not really sure how to feel about Titanfall 2. I've heard a lot of bad feedback about Titanfall 1 and how it didn't have enough once it got the launch going. But I played the demo of Titanfall 2, and to me it played pretty smoothly to be, you know, just like a beta test. But other than that, I couldn't see no reason why not to at least go out, buy it, and give it a shot. Now, I could be wrong and sticking my foot in my mouth and it could completely suck balls, but yet again, only time will tell with that one. Another game in my list, if any of y'all have ever played an old PlayStation game called Shadow of the Colossus, I'm looking forward to The Last Guardian. I haven't heard a whole lot about the initial game as far as story. I've seen gameplay of it, and it reminds me a lot of Shadows of Colossus. So I'm looking forward to seeing how your giant friend can help maneuver you through the level and what kind of connection you would have with your giant friend. Now for me, another highly anticipated title was Mirror's Edge 2, The Catalyst. I played Mirror's Edge 1, completed Mirror's Edge 1, loved it, loved how the storyline played. I liked how the free running was pretty much the primary position of the game. Now that I've seen Mirror's Edge, The Catalyst, after it is dropped, and I've seen some gameplay footage of it, I actually got to play some of it over at a friend's house. It looks as though the combat for Mirror's Edge has gotten a lot more advanced. I'm liking how your character can now defend herself very well with using parkour and the objects around her. Mirror's Edge 2, or Mirror's Edge Catalyst, however you would like to say it, looks like it's going to be a beautiful game. If you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, I would suggest going and taking a peek at it. It is beautiful looking. And finally, to add to the end of my list, is Days Gone. Now this is one me and my wife are anticipating. I was really looking forward to seeing how the multiplayer would turn out on Days Gone, because if I can play that with friends, that would be just awesome. But it's looking like it's gonna have more of a single player asset. It's just you. You can use the environment around you. It's a horde-based game. I guess you could say kind of like Left 4 Dead, but not all cheesy after a while. Which I'm not saying Left 4 Dead was cheesy. It was pretty good. But back on to the topic at hand. The game is looking very sick. If you haven't had a chance to view any of the gameplay for it, I would suggest going and looking it up on any of the YouTube channels that preview it. The game itself is called Days Gone. It is another zombie game. It is absolutely beautiful as far as gameplay, graphics, and the way that the overall horde moves. This has been my lucky charm, giving you my preview of games that I have. I hope to see you. Drop a like, leave a comment, and deuces.
Oh my God, if I die, I'm a legend. When they lay me down to rest, I know I was always repping. Oh my God, my whole life, my words been my